Hey Bearcats, it's Mirsayah Wasnuk, and I'm a student at the Lindner College of Business and the president of Net Impact UC Consulting. Welcome back to Sustainability in Business, a Bearcats Mean Business student series, a new series exploring key topics in sustainability and how you can apply them to your future career goals in business. Today, my guests are third-year Lindner student Serenity Pastor and Lindner Community Engagement Assistant Director Brienne Blair. We are sharing our unique experience attending the 2025 United Nations Climate Change Conference, referred to as COP30 in Belém, Brazil, a major international climate summit that convened over 200 countries, thousands of NGOs, and leaders from key industries including agriculture, forestry, renewable energy, and transportation. Thank you for being here, Serenity and Bree.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
Yes, I'm glad to be here as well.
Can you tell us about your professional experiences and how it led you to attend COP30?
For sure. I'm always in Lindner. I'm always engaging with students, and the atrium is the common ground for mingling with anybody that comes in. And so I remember talking to you, Mirsayah, and you brought the idea of COP30 to my attention simply because we knew that the Office of Community Engagement main initiative was to strengthen study away experiences. And so we saw this as a strong start to start this initiative, and from there we hit the ground running as far as planning and delegating and making sure that we had all the boxes checked. And so I guess my professional experiences was just being present and open to the Lindner community.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have never heard of COP30. So I took the opportunity when the two Lindner women, Mirsayah and Serenity, came to me. They told us about They told Nick and I about COP30. I looked it up and I said, oh, I think this is a great opportunity for our students to learn about sustainability. I think this will be a great opportunity for travel. And was I immediately interested? Absolutely, I was. So Nick and I sat down and we thought this was going to be a good opportunity for the two of you. Definitely for Sophia and Sarah. They were incorporated in our decision as well. So I'm excited that you guys came to us.
I feel like the main part of our negotiation process of convincing Nick and Bree to allow us to come to this conference was what does it appeal to business students? When you hear the word sustainability and climate change, you often think science or the College of Arts and Sciences. What was unique about this COP30 experiences, or this COP30 experience, was that it was centered around creating financial solutions and tools to be able to fund sustainable practices. And then we were like, bingo, that's why we're coming. There were many, many companies. Of course, you talked about the non-governmental organizations, the countries that were there, but what was the main factor for us was really honing in on those company practices on funding financial solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I really wasn't sold until we got there. Until we got to the conference, and I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
So, of course it was an easy sell to go to Brazil, but but the conference alone, when we walked in and they were talking about clean water sources and, who was there to represent, and I really appreciate you both being there because you did a well job representing UC and America.
Yes.
North America. So once we got there, it solidified it.
Yes.
That's amazing. And I know, Serenity, you made a really awesome connection. Well, quite a few. Could you tell us about the connection you made with it was the vice president of the global bank in Europe?
Yes. So I was sitting in on a Deloitte session, and the panel was called Driving Sustainable Growth. And I remember it being one of the few English-speaking sessions, and I was like, this is my time to network and find out, where my people are, especially those who had an American accent. I'm like, okay, I need to follow this stream of people that are, sharing information. So I ended up walking up to a lady that was sitting in around the coffee sessions in the Deloitte cubicle, and I was just asking her about, hey, where are more English sessions that I can find, and where can I find more Deloitte or American company sessions, because I'm a student from the University of Cincinnati, and I would love to build my knowledge that way. First, she was surprised that I was an American student. She expressed to me that this was her 15th COP, and her role in this industry for however many years, she has never seeing that many students, especially American students. She talked about there being European students, African students, South American students, but never American students. We then got into what was her role and why she was sitting on the panel for Deloitte. And she told me that she was the global head of financial solutions for this major European bank. She mentioned how the bank wasn't really popular in America. She said that she worked with J.P. Morgan and Bank of America, but it was more of a European, Asian type of bank. And so that with that connection, I was able to really hone in on the key pieces of information that she spoke about on the panel, but also get a world view of how the sustainable and financial solutions sphere collaborate. And
Serenity, as president of Lindner Tribunal, how did your leadership experience prepare you for engaging with global sustainability issues at COP30?
My mindset going into COP30 was everyone is here for one thing. Everyone was on a mission. Everyone was either there to learn, there to negotiate a deal, or to have some sort of outcome out of the 2 weeks that COP was happening. And so my mindset in going into COP was, one, to be as best of a representative for the Lindner community, but two, also make sure that I am educating myself enough so that I'm able to spread the knowledge when I come back to Cincinnati. And so the way that I did that was I was really aggressive in making sure that I placed myself in the correct spaces, of course, English, or people that had the translators, to make sure that I was getting that knowledge. And so as president, I went into the mindset of just representing my community well, and making sure that the Lindner community got the return on investment for sending us to Belém.
Bree, how do you see the Office of Community Engagement supporting UC students in understanding and applying sustainability principles discussed at COP30?
So the Office of Community Engagement can support in empowering Lindner students by providing experiential learning opportunities, like driving sustainability initiatives on campus and community projects, and connecting students with the global goals of COP30 through impactful local actions, discussions, and collaborations across diverse fields.
Serenity, what were some insights from COP30 that you feel future business leaders should focus on, especially regarding ethics and sustainability?
The main theme that I got from COP30 as far as keeping sustainability and ethics in mind was changing the narrative. Often I feel like when people think about sustainable practices as it relates to corporate governance, they're thinking about, oh, we have to cut back, or, oh, we can't do things the way, we have to spend more money to enable to be more sustainable. So when you change the narrative, it just eliminates the uncertainty. When you hone in on the data that the companies are using and garnering to be able to drive sustainable practices, that will be able to eliminate uncertainty. And so after you eliminate uncertainty and change the narrative, then you can use the financial instruments to drive organizational change. And so using financial instruments to drive organizational change really is what I feel like that I got from COP30 was the main aspect of what appealed to companies to be able to adopt sustainable practices, because it's commonly assumed that, oh, if we become more sustainable, we're going to be spending more money, or, oh, it's going to cost or put us at a deficit if we were to cut back on any resources or energy use. And so when you hone in on those financial instruments, change the narrative, and really hone in on the facts, that's how I feel, or that's what I got from COP30 about how future business leaders can align with sustainability and ethics.
Bree, what opportunities exist for UC students to get involved in sustainability initiatives inspired by COP30, both on campus and beyond?
So COP30 is sparking a wave of opportunities for students to connect global climate principles with local action. UC offers over 100 sustainability-related courses across its 7 colleges, plus certificates and minors that allow students to specialize in areas like environmental policy, sustainable design, and climate science. And also, students can team up with faculty on projects about renewable energy, climate justice, or sustainable urban development. kind of like what Sarah did. She was, very involved with her faculty member. That's how she was able to come to COP 30. And this all matches COP 30's focus on education and innovation. And there's also opportunity for student-led initiatives as well. So as you guys are all part of student orgs, incorporating hands-on programs where students team up with local groups to tackle sustainability issues like food security, renewable energy, and cutting down waste, as we know when we were in Brazil, cutting down waste. Yes.
All right, Serenity, were there any specific discussions or innovations at COP30 that connected with your role in Lindner Tribunal and your interest in justice or policy?
Yes. When thinking about business practices, I remember a session where they mentioned organizational change and how they can utilize organizational change to be able to push sustainable initiatives forward. And the way that I feel like that resonates with my role is because I am making sure that all of the roles of the tribunal are aligned to best serve the Lindner community and our student leaders within the Lindner community. And so organizational change and making sure that everyone is aligned with that can be used in sustainable practices and initiatives, but also can be used for student government and community initiatives.
Were there any specific instruments of organizational change that really struck you of I need to go back and I need to learn this, or I need to go back and use this?
One of the main pieces of information that I got from the panelists was that incentive is a short-term solution to drive organizational change. They mentioned that what drives people to be motivated to come in and really push an initiative forward was that they know that the work that they're doing is important. And the way that they align importance with the work that they're doing on the day-to-day is making sure that they are constantly tracking the KPIs and making them evident towards the people that are producing those KPIs. Another thing that I learned about organizational change was that you don't cut short-term profit for long-term solutions. That goes along with what I mentioned earlier about how the way we can really drive sustainable change is that if all companies or majority of companies are aligned with sustainable practice. It's not about nitpicking at the beehive. It's just about making sure that over a long-term scale that you are continuously cutting down.
Bree, in your view, why is it important for university students to participate in global conversations like COP30, and how does it influence their academic and career growth?
As a faculty and staff member, I think that it's important for students to have a voice. You guys are the stakeholders, so everything you say, I think we need to incorporate it. I think this type of experience allows you guys to show that what you're learning at UC, coming into Lindner, this is what we're learning from our classrooms, incorporating it, sharing it with other organizations, sharing it in your leadership roles. So,
Serenity, what leadership skills did you strengthen through attending COP30, and how do you see them impacting your future career in business?
At COP, I saw myself being a person that was ready to jump into action. Oftentimes, I have calculated responses and calculated actions, and so with COP, with everything going on, there's thousands of people there. It's hot and it's a live and energetic area, and so as a leader, I just saw myself just constantly jumping into action, whether it be something or a workshop that I've heard of last minute, or someone of importance that I need to get some information from or interview or network with. I just saw myself jumping into action because I knew that the return on investment for the Lindner community and my peers relied on the information that I was getting in this short amount of time. So it wasn't about it was no time to think, just jump into action.
And I actually want to pull that string a little bit and bring up an experience that you had, Serenity. You had the opportunity to interview a really important person. Could you expand upon that and just your courage that it took even doing it?
Yes. So Sarah and I were sitting in on this session that Sarah learned from someone else at another session. Again, following along the lines of people that are speaking English and, we can readily communicate. So I made a point to Sarah, let's sit in the front and let's go on a session. And so as we're sitting in front, we're seeing people just funnel in. And we're like, there's people with badges. And we know that the people with badges are from the blue zone. If you need a badge to get into the blue zone. So I'm like, okay, this is an important session because the important people are coming over to the green zone. Not to say the green zone is important, but we were like, okay, this is some serious matters. So as the session was going on, we have our translators on, and we're seeing these people talk in such an energetic way. They're talking really strong, and they're just trying to get their point across. A man then comes on and says that Germany is pledging $1.8 billion to indigenous climate justice, and I found that interesting. So when he made that announcement, I made it. Again, jumping into action, I made a point of mine to follow him because I found it interesting about how he pledged that large amount of money from his country towards such an impactful group of people. So then again, I hopped on the wagon, and I went out, and I basically held up my voice recording mic to his first, and I asked him, what does this $1.8 billion mean? And I later found out that he was a delegate representing Germany, and basically the totality of what the $1.8 billion meant was that they felt that it was a major contender in helping the indigenous communities and helping drive, again, sustainable change. And so I was really grateful to have the opportunity to get so close to someone that was such of importance for the country of Germany.
Bree, what role do you see student engagement playing in fostering a future where business and community solutions are aligned for sustainability?
Yeah, I think that we had a really great opportunity in seeing that COP30 wasn't just for important people, quote unquote, with the blue passports and the and the yellow passports, we saw indigenous people, and I think that we need to mention that experience. Those are people who are natives of Brazil, of Belém, and they were protesting. They got together as a community, they protested, and they said that, what about us? So I think that when I was watching it on my phone, unfortunately I got to miss the protest, but when I saw it on my phone and I saw that they came together as a community and they were all in line with each other, it spoke something to the UC community. Like we could come back and say that as a community, we are going to be one unit and we are going to stand for this, just like the indigenous people did at COP30. And so to me, that was a very humbling experience, seeing the natives come. I think that was something that we can bring back to community engagement department and see that this is how they did it. They came together as one, and that's something that I think we need to kind of follow. And Lindner coming together as a college of business, and we have very bright sustainability majors, economic majors, accounting majors. So for all these student organizations, that's accounting, and we have different business student orgs coming all together and just building a tighter, stronger community.
Yes, that's amazing. And Serenity, I would say that's exactly what Lindner Tribunal is for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted to just come off of what Bree's saying is that the whole reason for COP is to drive energy and to just create interest around sustainable practices and eliminating uncertainty and just creating that availability of demand to increase impact. Mm-hmm. And so with this energy that they were bringing, and you have all of these different assets that are just, you have all of these different facets that were working together, I feel like that really did encapsulate the 30-year long tenure of COP itself, was to really generate that energy to raise awareness and create impact is what we're here for in general.
My thanks to Serenity and Brienne for joining me today on the episode of a Sustainability in Business, a Bearcats Mean Business student series. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who's ready to take the leap at Lindner. Your feedback helps more Bearcats discover the show. Until next time, keep showing the world how Bearcats mean business.